Hi, my name's Maddie and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I just wanted to do an art introduction video and just talk about when I started my art practice and how I sort of developed my own sense of style, and then maybe you guys can leave comments onto what kind of videos that you would want to see in the future. So, where do I begin? I've been drawing and painting, basically forever. Really started getting into it in middle school, high school. I had really good art professors who taught me a lot, really honed my skills. So then when I went to college and I was an art major, I felt like I already had a really great foundation. But watercolor is my primary media. It's my favorite. I started a little bit in high school learning from my professor, David Welch. Really started getting into it in college. Sophomore year, I took this really amazing class with Liz Ward. It was a outdoor studio class. So on Fridays, we would go out for like 5 hours just to a new location every week. And we would just paint what was around us, the surrounding. Most of the time it was landscape paintings and things like this. This is sort of my first sketchbook work that I started doing. So they're a little bit rough and not quite my style yet, but it was sort of the beginning of my art journey. My junior year, I studied abroad in Glasgow. When I went to the Glasgow School of Art, it was a very different type of art school than what I was used to in the United States. They really gave us free range to sort of do whatever we want, and we didn't really have much structure, which at the time was really stressful, and I felt like I had this abundance of time to make work, and then I was not making anything. And on top of that, I felt a little bit lost. I was kind of going through a hard time, and I was making a little bit of some like angsty artwork like this. That was really fun. But then ironically, towards the end of the semester when I was there, they closed down our studios. We didn't have access to them anymore. And that's when I really started creating a lot more art, actually, because I was sort of trapped in my apartment and we didn't really have much to do. So I started to just wander around the city and start drawing people in coffee shops and in parks and libraries and things like that. My goal really was just to fill up a whole sketchbook, because I'd always bought sketchbooks and then abandoned them, and then bought new sketchbooks and started and abandoned. So I really just wanted to finish a whole sketchbook, and I wanted to get way better at drawing people, really hone my skills. I was working in pencil at first. Over time, it would sort of rub between the pages and it would wear down and you wouldn't be able to see it as well in the future. So then I started working in pen and going over it. But that was sort of tedious to do like a sketch and then outline it in pen. So that's when I just started working in pen, mostly because I was lazy. I was like, I want to make sure this is saved, and I want to just do it as quick as possible and just not worry about erasing and making mistakes, and just do it and then move on to the next drawing. It also became this flow state meditation practice. I would sit there and look at people, and for 5-10 minutes all I would concentrate on was just drawing the people that was in front of me. Felt really lonely sometimes when I was abroad. Doing this practice really reminded me when I was homesick and a little bit lonely how similar I am to other people, and I'm really connected to my community. And sometimes it's easy to lose track of that when you're by yourself in your own home or your own apartment. That experience of getting out and trying to explore the city and just be around other people was very therapeutic. So I really tried to keep that practice up after that experience. And when I moved back to San Antonio and when I moved to Israel for 7 months, it was really this practice to stay grounded in the present moment and really see the people around me and appreciate what was happening around me. So when I went back to my final year of college, I kept up that practice and I started sketching and drawing my friends and people on campus, people in the library, and I ended up having a show of just my sketchbook work, just my line work, and then I started to add watercolor to it. I was like, oh, I'll just use watercolor because I really liked watercolor and it'll be quick and easy, and I can most of the time carry watercolor with me, so it's really transportable. Towards the end of my senior year, then I started using all of those sketchbook works to develop these longer panoramic pieces and include sort of these ghost figures, because a lot of times I would go to the same coffee shop or the same museum or bookstore, and there'd always be different people. At first, the ghosts sort of represented this passage of time of me just revisiting this place several times and just encountering different people at different times or different seasons. I also started incorporating myself into them. A lot of times at first I would just put myself in the reflections of windows. I would show myself from different angles. In this piece, I'm like in this yellow shirt, which is my favorite color. And this is a sketch that I did from the inside of this window. I painted this guy wearing cowboy boots and this hat. And in the bigger scene that I did, I kept the same guy in there, and then I put myself where I was sitting at the time drawing him. I do a lot of little fun Easter eggs in my works, mostly just for myself, but it's kind of fun tidbits that I don't really get to share with people. And like in this piece, I included my friends because we went to this park together and we had a really good time, and I wanted to do a piece of this park, so I put them in it. It's kind of cool because for me personally, it went from me just putting myself in it and my reflection of me doing this very solitary activity of drawing people and trying to connect with people. And then it turned into, or has over time, I've included more of my own friends and people in my community that I know in some of these works. Then in 2020, furloughed, so I decided to put my all into making TikTok videos. I had so much fun just sort of exploring and making videos and kind of thinking of video format as its own form of it in and of itself. You know, how to make it look cool, and really started focusing in on the process of creating. And so I just made lots of like silly videos, and I was posting like 3 times a day because I was furloughed and I didn't have a job. So instead of drawing in coffee shops and things like that, I had to sort of change my model of how I worked because of the pandemic. I had to get a little bit more creative. Ended up doing walks around my neighborhood with one of my coworkers. Ended up doing lots of drawings of architecture in my neighborhood and other people's houses. More focus on like urban landscape and things like that. I got asked to do a commission of somebody's home. That sort of spiraled into a bunch of people asking me to do commissions of their homes. But this is sort of just like primarily a page to talk about watercolor painting and sketching people in public. Really excited to make longer format videos for you guys and do maybe longer tutorials, showing more of my sketchbooks and, I don't know, telling you guys stories about weird encounters I've had via people drawing. You should just leave me a comment and tell me what you're interested in so that I can compile a list so I can make videos for everybody. I think it'd be really fun. So if you enjoyed this video, I just wanted to say hello and an introduction a little bit to my work. If you want to subscribe, feel free. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!